Hi everybody, Paul Pancake here. Welcome back to another speed build on my channel. Thank you so much for tuning in today. You look absolutely amazing as always, and I'm so glad that you found your way here. Today we're building a tiny house, and it's kind of by a pond or by the lake. I don't know, I don't really know what to call it yet, but it's sort of in nature, and I really liked spending yesterday doing this or building this. So yeah, basically it's kind of a modern tiny house, and I gotta be honest, I'm really in love with building tiny houses. I've mentioned that a couple of times, but for the last few videos I didn't really do tiny houses because I had a lot of ideas for different stuff, like the Bridgerton house or the American Horror Story Murder house. But the thing is that those houses were huge, and I mean, it's fun to work on something that big, and it's really cool to see it all come together. But at one point it just kind of gets a little boring, and because you're basically just working on the same house all the time. So after building these huge homes, for me they're huge. For other simmers, they're probably not huge. Like there's people that build like massive things in The Sims 4, not me. But yeah, after that, I really was in the mood for some tiny homes and for some smaller homes. So I actually built two, and the thing is that this video is part of a pre-producing era, if you will. So basically, right now when you're seeing this, I'm probably at my parents' house and I'm not really doing any YouTube stuff. So this video is pre-produced, and I built a couple of other houses that were pre-produced, if you will, and I don't know if you've seen them yet. Like I really don't know in what order I'm going to upload these videos. I guess it's just going to depend on how I'm feeling on that particular day. But yeah, this tiny house is kind of on the modern side. At first, I forgot to mention, this is actually based on a reference which I got on Twitter by one of you guys. I don't know exactly who it was, but I'm going to show the reference to you guys. And in the beginning of this, well, building process, the house looked pretty similar to it, but then it kind of turned into my own thing. And yeah, I really like the reference. It kind of had like eco lifestyle vibes. I think the person that sent this reference to me on Twitter also said that they can imagine that it would look really good with eco lifestyle items. And yeah, I honestly didn't even use that many eco lifestyle items for this, but yeah, I tried to recreate it, but then it kind of, yeah, well, I always do that. Like I do build from reference pictures, and then I put my own twist on it because I feel like this and that would look better in The Sims, because that happens a lot. And I did the same thing here. So now it looks pretty similar, and I tried to recreate it in a way that is, yeah, well, similar to the reference. I'm sorry. Yeah, but then I'm going to add like a huge window front. It's not huge, but it's like a big window front to it, and I really like that look, but you're gonna see that later. I don't even know why I'm spoiling you. Is that a word? Can you say that? Spoiling someone? Because I don't know how you say that, but I know that a spoiler is like when you spoil someone. Wait, for example, you can spoil a movie because you give away the ending. I don't know. I'm not a native English speaker, if you didn't know. I'm from Germany. And that's why sometimes my English isn't correct all the time. But yeah, you're gonna see the building process. That's basically what I'm trying to say. And yeah, also fun fact, I actually already built a house based on this reference like almost a year ago. I would say that it's pretty much like could be like, well, maybe not exactly, but almost a year ago, when Eco Lifestyle was about to come out, because this reference, like I said, looked very Eco Lifestyle to me, and I saw it last year as well, and I kind of wanted to recreate something similar with the items that we already had in game before Eco Lifestyle was a thing. I can't talk today, but also, I'm pre-producing like a lot of videos today. I think I'm doing 4 voiceovers today, and this is the first one of them. So yeah, I have a lot coming. That's also why I made myself some tea. And also, I kind of need to get used to talking slowly, I guess. That's how the speed build gets much more comfortable for me, I guess. But I don't know, for some reason, I said that in my Bridgerton build, I always feel the need to talk fast and to just be entertaining. But you guys told me in the comments that you're totally fine with a more relaxed voiceover, so I don't know why I'm hustling so much, but yeah, I'm trying. And basically, like I said, I already built a house based on this reference before, and it turned out entirely different. It's the micro eco home. I can't really recall what name I gave it. I'm also not really impressed by it. Like looking at it now, I really don't like what I did there, but it's on my YouTube channel. You can still check it out. If I remember doing it, if I remember to do it, I'm going to link the video down below in the description, or maybe even do one of those fancy like pop-ups in the video. I don't know if I can do that. I'm not a professional, but yeah, because I did that once, and it also looks very different. It looks very different from the one I've built today, and it also looks very different from the reference picture, but they all originate basically from that reference picture, if that makes sense. And you can see that this house actually has this little bar area, I would call it. It's kind of like this maybe like sitting food area. I don't know, I don't really know what to call it, where it's like these shelves in front of the windows and the bar stools, and you could technically sit down and eat there. And now the thing is, I don't know if I've posted it yet or not, but I've built another tiny home, which is a totally different style, but it also has a similar thing. And that's just because both of the references I use for those tiny homes have these little windows with the sitting area in front of them. And I think it's really cute. Like, I of course built like the kitchen onto the other side of the sitting area on the inside, so I kind of like, in my head, the Sims would just make their food and just give it through the window to their guests or whatever. Of course that doesn't work in gameplay, but I was able to make it work in the other tiny house, so to actually function. So I think I play tested it and it worked. I hope it's gonna work for you guys as well. I don't even know why I'm telling you this, because this is not even about this tiny house, it's like about the other tiny house, but whatever. And it worked, and it was really cool because when my Sim went to the fridge and got some food, they immediately sat down onto the sitting area by these windows, and I think that was amazing. I tried to do for this one as well, but it didn't work. Yeah, and I'm just telling you guys this because I don't know if you've seen the other tiny home yet, or if this is the first one I'm posting of the pre-produced stuff. I really don't know yet. Like I said, I'm just going to post the video that I'm feeling on that day. I don't know. But as you can see, I added these windows because I thought to have this tiny home, I don't know, like in the reference picture, it was just a bland space, which was just like this container material. It's not really container, I guess it's more like a metal that they use, but I kind of wanted to use the container wallpaper from Eco Lifestyle. And yeah, I thought it would be nicer to have like some sort of like green room vibe, because also this video, like this house has kind of a lot of house, like, not, is it called house plants, but like plants around it, and also like a lot of landscaping. Like, it's pretty wild, and I like the way I did that because I usually don't go that much overboard. Well, I did back in the days, but then I kind of toned it down for a while, and now I'm kind of back just overdosing with landscaping, if one could say. And yeah, so basically, why did I want to tell you this? I don't know, I swear I was going somewhere with that, but I forgot, but maybe it's going to come to my mind later. What you see now is basically me furnishing, and I know usually I do it in a way where I furnish the outside of a house, well, I build the outside of a house first and then I furnish, but because this was a tiny home, I had to stick to 64 tiles, because this was not supposed to be bigger than 64 tiles, because then it wouldn't count as a tiny home, but as a small home, and then you have less perks, so that doesn't really make sense. So I wanted it to be a tiny home, so this is exactly 64 tiles, but for that I really had to be careful with the floor plan. Like, I needed to come up with something that made sense, and I actually really like the floor plan I came up with for this home. And because I feel like it has a lot of room, and it has everything you need. It even has like the fancy spooky, is it spooky? No, wait, paranormal stuff. Oh my god, the fancy paranormal stuff couch. And yeah, I really wanted to use that. I also wanted to use that in my other tiny home, but I didn't have space for that. And for this one, I was like, I'm going to use it for this one. Like, doesn't matter what may come, but I will use this couch because I think it's beautiful. And the couch actually inspired me to come up with like a kind of nice black and white modern color scheme, which I really loved. And I don't know, I felt like it was so different to the other tiny home that I've built, and I should probably stop mentioning the other tiny home that I've built just because you may not have seen it yet. But yeah, that one was very colorful, and this was kind of toned down and yeah, very modern, and I really like that vibe. So that's why I went for that. And yeah, as you can see, wait, let me take a sip of my coffee. It's not even coffee, it's tea, by the way. I made a whole can because, like I said, I'm pre-producing a lot of videos today, and girl, if I'm talking so much, I'm talking like if it's 4 videos, it's probably like 2 hours. That's like 2 hours of just talking. I need tea for that, because otherwise I just won't be able to speak at all at the end of the day. Also, sorry if you hear like these tea sipping noises too loud because it's too close to my microphone. I really don't know how that sounds to you, but yeah, I hope it's not too bad. And yeah, as you can see, at first I went for this little kitchen island moment because I thought that would be kind of unique in a tiny home, because usually in a tiny home you don't really have space for such things. Usually you would, you know, like, I don't know, just really save a lot of space. But I wanted this house to look very grand, not very grand, it's like as if it was like a mansion or something, but like I wanted this house to look much bigger from the inside that you would expect it to be, if that makes sense. So I decided to kind of do this divided kitchen look where you have a table in the middle of the kitchen, and then you have counters on the left and on the right side. And you may say that that's a lot of counters, you could have used that space for something else, especially in a tiny home, you don't need so many counters, blah blah blah. But what I imagined in my head was that maybe like a cook or like a chef would live here, and they really like cooking, so having a nice kitchen with a lot of space is very important for them, and that's kind of the vibe that I wanted to go for. I know, I feel like, you know, you guys stopped me from saying I don't know. Then I feel like you guys stopped me from saying something else that was something else, like a bad habit that I had in my language. And now the new thing that I keep saying is like the vibe. I like the vibe. I kind of felt the vibe and all of that. Like I want to stop saying vibe. I kind of feel weird saying vibe as much, but yeah, it's kind of my new thing that I keep saying. As you can see, I'm doing a little custom window moment here, and I do like doing that I did like doing that in my last couple of builds, just because it adds a little, like at least in the modern builds, it just adds a little extra visual interest maybe, because that way it looks as if there was actually like these little square windows in the roof, which we usually don't have, but kind of wanted to do that. That way also this yeah, the whole, all the windows look just much bigger, and just the whole house from the inside also looks, or like from the outside looks much brighter, because from the inside you can't really tell that there's also windows like above the first floor. But yeah, I felt like this look was pretty cute. I felt it makes sense to get as much light as possible into this little house. And yeah, I did that with Toolmod, guys. A lot of people asked me whether I could make a Toolmod tutorial, so I'm going to tell you no. Just because, like, I don't mean it in a mean way. It's just I really don't know Tool as much. Like, there's people who are absolute pros with Tool, and I feel like I'm constantly learning, and I'm still learning, and I couldn't explain it to you guys. I couldn't do it that well. There's a lot of tutorials on YouTube already. I know Fantasims, who's an amazing creator, recently uploaded one. You could also watch that, or you could watch the tutorial by the original creator of the Toolmod, which is Twisted Maxi, and I'm sure you're going to be fine with those. But honestly, it just doesn't make sense if I do it, because I don't know it as well. I just know some functions that I usually use, but that's it. Like, there's tons of more to the Toolmod to explain, and I feel like I'm the wrong person to do that. I do plan on doing more tutorials when it comes to The Sims in the future. I don't really know what kind, like, I mean, I have a list, but I don't really know which I'm really going to do and which not. But this is all like plans for, I don't know, it's going to, I didn't really do anything for the tutorials yet. Like, I'm probably going to do it like in like a month or something, and I'm thinking about like building tutorials or landscaping tutorials. I also want to upload an updated reshade tutorial, so all of these things are kind of in production, in pre-production, if you want to call it like that. But yeah, Toolmod tutorial is not happening because I'm just not good enough for that. And also wait, yeah, it doesn't make sense because I would need to watch another tutorial to explain it to you guys, and that doesn't make sense. Like, in that case, you could just watch that tutorial that I watch anyway to know everything about it and to just tell you guys it. Like, I hope you get what I mean. But yeah, basically what I'm saying is I'm not gonna make a Toolmod tutorial, but just look up Toolmod tutorial on YouTube. It's you're gonna find amazing tutorials, and they're gonna be helpful, and you're gonna do well. Although I'm thinking about making a video about like my favorite Toolmod tricks or something, like Toolmod hacks that I like doing, because there are a couple of things that I really like doing. For example, I'm going to make some custom pot plans, if that makes sense. Like I'm using some baskets from Jungle Adventure to create like a custom planter pot, if that, I don't know if that's the word for it. And also, yeah, just some stuff to move around and stuff. For example, this house was built on this platform, and usually you can't really get landscaping under there, but I feel like it would look really unrealistic without having it like overgrown and such. But I used Toolmod to place some of these landscaping items that I found in Debug underneath the house, and I feel like it looks much more realistic that way. But yeah, as you can see, I am starting to make it look a little bit more wild, and at first I didn't know if I really liked the look, just because I really went for that modern vibe on the exterior and also on the interior, but then all of this landscaping kind of made it so, well, a little bit more rustic than I wanted it to. Oh my god. That was a really silent burp, but yeah, I'm sorry guys. If you don't like burps, then this is probably not the right place for you. But I'm always in between just not saying anything and holding it back, and then we got like an awkward 5 seconds in the voiceover where nothing happens, or I could just let it out and we're done with that. Like that's usually what I'm thinking, so I usually rather let it out. But yeah, it looks a little bit more rustic with all the landscaping, but I kind of think it's nice. The only thing is I didn't limit my packs for this build just because I didn't feel like it. I had the vision for this house in my head, and I was like, okay, I'm going to need every pack, well, every item that I can think of that matches this build to actually make it interesting, because it's honestly a little bit more on the basic side. I feel like everybody has built like a cabin that's like a tiny cabin next to a lake or a pond or anything. I've seen that so many times, and that doesn't mean that just because there's a lot of them already, it does that it's bad if you make them. But usually I like doing stuff that no one else did before, and now that sounds really biased. I'm not saying that the stuff I'm doing that no one else did before is good, okay? But I hope you get what I mean. And this seemed pretty basic to me, so that's why I wanted to have all the packs, so I could make it just a little bit more interesting. And yeah, here's, by the way, the thing that I meant with a custom plant. And yeah, I basically just took 2 of those baskets, rotated them around, and added a plant, and then basically elevated that into, yeah, into that custom basket that I made, and I feel like it went pretty well. Also, I got some plants from the gallery, like some already like perfect plants that I put into the vertical gardens. I thought that's a nice thing. So when you basically get this house from the gallery, you're gonna have these plants already, and you won't have to deal with, yeah, basically growing them and just caring for them until they're perfect. I thought that would be pretty nice. And let me take another sip. Also, I just started cluttering the house, and again, what I did here was I placed most of the furniture already just to see if it worked out before, and now I'm going back to clutter everything. And I feel like that's a technique I usually do in tiny houses. It's a technique that I did in my other tiny house as well. So yeah, basically there's nothing more happening in this video. I'm just placing some more clutter around. I really liked using the eco lifestyle items. I think they're very versatile, which I really like. Like you could get a modern vibe, but you could also get like a more like a modern, very modern vibe, or like if you use the wooden colors, it's more kind of like a DIY vibe. I don't know how to describe it, but I really like using them. But anyway, we're heading towards the end of this video, and I just wanted to say thank you so much again for joining me today. And if you liked it, then feel free to give me a thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed yet, then feel free to do that as well and become a member of my pen cult. I would absolutely love that. I also stream on Twitch every Tuesday and Saturday, so feel free to check me out there as well and say hello in one of my streams. But enough with the self-promotion. Hope to see you next time as well. Bye everybody.